Alka Kapoor, Chief Operating Officer, ICSI Institute of Insolvency Professionals. Ma'am, may I request you to kindly.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Chairman IBBI, members of the adjudicating authority, my co-panelists, dear professionals, and dear friends. It's indeed a pleasure to be here today amongst this gathering and to address this IP conclave being organized by IBBI as part of the celebration of 75 years of Azadi Mahotsav. In fact, friends, today I represent all the three IPAs: the Indian Institute of Insolvency Professionals ICAI, Insolvency Professional Agency of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and ICSI Institute of Insolvency Professionals. I am the last speaker today, but the role of IPAs in this whole regime of insolvency is that of being a frontline regulator in the development and monitoring and regulation of IPs. Well, friends, the IPAs have three major functions. One, the executive functions, which include enrollment, development of IPs, monitoring, inspecting and investigating the members on a regular basis. Two, regulatory functions, which include drafting detailed standards and codes of conduct through bylaws that are made public and are binding on all members. And three, the quasi-judicial functions, which include addressing the grievances of stakeholders against the IPs, enabling and taking disciplinary actions wherever warranted. IPAs have a very eminent board as eminent board with very eminent personalities as independent directors and nominees from the parent bodies. IPS have functioned through the several committees like the monitoring committee, the disciplinary committee, grievance redressal committee, advisory committee for carrying out its functions. The IPS empower its IPs through its programs, through its publications, through its webinars, training, workshops, and so on and so forth. They also sensitize the members on the code of conduct to ensure high standard of professional and ethical conduct. We have also developed best practices guidance notes for our members, and we bring out monthly journals, quarterly journals, weekly updates, daily learning curves, and various publications have also been brought out by the IPAs for the benefit of the IPs. Some of these publications are enhancing the role of small-sized insolvency professionals in insolvency resolution ecosystem. 2. Procedural and substantive aspects of group insolvency. 100 landmark judgments of NCLAT. 2 volumes are there for this book. Final word on IBC. IBC learning curves. Practical aspects of IBC. Pronouncements under IBC, and so on and so forth. These publications are brought out by all the three IPAs, and any IP can buy it from any of the organizations. All these books are very relevant in the development and education of the IPs, and their practical aspects shared by the insolvency professionals who have gone through this regime. We also share success stories of the professional members through our webinars. IPS over the years together with the IBBI have organized significant number of interactions and sessions with the industry members across sectors, across cities, to advocate the importance of complying with the IBC and to spread awareness on the insolvency profession as well as the insolvency resolution. Very recently, as part of this Akam celebrations, all the three IPAs have together organized 75 programs across various cities, across 75 cities in India, to highlight the role of insolvency professionals. We also act as the licensing authority, and we take your concerns and issues to the regulator, to the IPBI, to the adjudicating authority, as well as to the MC. Another very important role is the monitoring, inspection and discipline. In fact, I would say here that the IPAs perform the role of parents. Just like a parent brings their child very lovingly, giving all the love, affection, giving them all the education, training, making them competent. But whenever they need be, they are also willing to scold them and even slap them. And that's what we do. We are there as to support our IPs, but if need be, but silently, we are supporting you, but silently we are also monitoring you. We are asking you for certain information, and then subsequently taking disciplinary action if required. The IPS conduct desktop monitoring. We conduct inspections which can be routine inspection based on what you give us, and also triggered based inspections. The monitoring, though at times seems like a fault finding exercise, but it is actually helpful in overall development of the profession. It also protects the IPs from incurring major defaults in future, which are likely to meet with heavy penalties in future. So even our monitoring, you should take it very positively. It is not a fault finding exercise, it is for your benefit, and in fact it protects you from further penalties, which may be levied due to non-compliance of certain laws. IPS develop professional standards and code of ethics under the code, audit the functioning of their members, discipline them and take actions against them if necessary, as I mentioned. During monitoring, inspections and disciplining, we have seen certain issues which have also been highlighted by the ED today. Some of that, even at the cost of repetition, I would still highlight them. Delay in submission of disclosures, so be very vigilant on these aspects. Delay in complying with the timelines mentioned in the code and regulations. The insolvency professionals undertook assignments without having valid authorization for assignment AFA, and there are many cases like that, not one or two. Appointments of professionals were made without appointment letters and invoices. Different professionals were appointed, however, the fee was not approved or ratified by the Committee of Creditors. Unregistered valuers were appointed by the insolvency professionals. There was lack of transparency or non-maintenance of records during CIRP, which was revealed during our monitoring and during our inspection when we go to your places to inspect the records. There is deviation in timelines, non-adherence to reporting requirements, and there are many instances where the IRP or RP failed to file non-cooperation applications or filed it so late that it lost its purpose and effectiveness, and there are so many others. The rigorous monitoring and timely compliance verification carried out by the IPAs has improved the conduct and of the insolvency professionals. No doubt there is an improvement. Well friends, the adjudicating authorities have issued various orders, and as you all know, they have played a major role in the development of the insolvency professionals. Their continuous watch has helped in improving our performance and conduct. I will just list out a few of the orders wherein the adjudicating authorities have been supporting and appreciating and aiding the insolvency professionals. In the matter of Union Bank of India versus Param Shakti Steel Limited, the adjudicating authority appreciated the efforts taken by the RP in unraveling the facts for fraud committed by the promoters and directors of the corporate debtor. In the matter of Asset Reconstruction Company India Private Limited versus Shivam Water Treaters Private Limited, adjudicating authority reiterated that IRP has the powers of a court officer. In the matter of Suresh Narayan versus Tayo Rolls Mill, the adjudicating authority imposed a cost of rupees 1 lakh each on the applicants for unwarranted behavior towards resolution professional. So even the adjudicating authorities are protecting the resolution professionals in its various orders. They have revealed that they are with the IPs. In the matter of COC of Syntex Industries Limited versus Pinakin S. Shah, the adjudicating authority reiterated COC is like a board of directors and the RP functions as the CEO under the supervision of the COC. There should be perfect cohesiveness between the two pillars of CIR. But yes, the adjudicating authority has also directed the insolvency professionals many a times. And in the matter of BMW India Financial Services Private Limited versus SK Wheels Private Limited, the NCLT imposed a penalty of rupees 1 lakh on resolution professional for abuse of his dominant position. We have to be very careful of because our position is very coveted, but there should not be any abuse of it. In the matter of ArcelorMittal India Private Limited versus Satish Kumar Gupta and others, the RP is not empowered to decide whether resolution plan contravenes any of the provisions of the law. Similarly, in one another case, the adjudicating authority said that RP has to follow the directions of the tribunal and non-compliance of the same will result in penalty. So, as mentioned earlier, the main function of the IP is maximization of the value of the CD while at the same time ensuring that he observes and continues to observe his ethical behavior and conduct. To support the IPs, the IPAs have developed professional standards and code of ethics which are available on the websites of all the IPAs. Please go through those. We have also developed statement of best practices for IPs on grey areas, and of course there are many such grey areas. So you will find the statement of best practices on our websites. You can go through those. Certainly every insolvency professional is expected to abide by the fundamental principles, as you all know, fundamental principles of ethics, which include integrity, objectivity, professional competence, confidentiality, independence, as well as impartiality. They are the torchbearers of the ethical conduct. Well, friends, with these few words, I would just say that now the IBBI is very open to suggestions, as you all see. Not only that, they are also looking at our concerns and the issues and concerns of IPs and bringing out the discussion papers and the rest-based discussion paper on the fees of RPs, which has always been a major, it's like a kanta, which was pricking the IPs. They try to resolve that. And on the discussion papers, on this as well as the others which are going to follow very shortly, I request all of you to send your suggestions to the IPAs instead of sending directly to IBBI, so that we can collate them and then forward them to the IBBI. In addition, we will also be organizing roundtables physically at various places to deliberate and discuss on these discussion papers. Please participate on those and bring your suggestions, so that the law that is framed is ultimately for the benefit of all the IPs. I will just conclude with these few words. Now, as we are celebrating 75 years of independence, I am sure that after 25 years, when we will be celebrating 100 years of independence, this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 would have become the most successful insolvency law in the world, which would have changed the credit culture in India and repositioned India at a very high pedestal globally. आगाज तो कर अंजाम तेरी मेहनत खुद लाएगी. Thank you.